Portuguese conquistadors, Tomás de Sousa, who arrived here in 1549 and colonised Brazil with the Portuguese. Yeah, one of the things you notice when you come here to South America, Brazil, I mean, you could be in Africa, West Africa. They have quite a line up with Benin. But when you go down to Uruguay and Argentina and right down to Ushuaia and Punta Arenas, it's all European. You don't see any blacks. These were all slaves brought here by the Portuguese because it was such a small country. They needed them to come here to with the sugar plantations and possibly tobacco. Very big agricultural place here. Yeah, it's quite an interesting story how Portugal, being such a small country on the Iberian Peninsula, was able to come over to South America. Because South America really was a Spanish domain. But what it is, they had the Pope at the time, you know, we're talking about the late 1400s, 1500s, they said that the Portuguese could have everything to the east of the 60-degree latitude line, and everything on the other side, on the west side of the latitude line, was the Spanish. So they were very lucky that Brazil stuck out such a far out into the Atlantic to the east on the other side of the 60-degree parallel, and that's how really it's the biggest country in South America, Brazil is. So the Portuguese were very lucky in that respect. Yeah, they must. You can see the old tram lines still here. They don't run trams anymore now, like Lisbon, but they have the trams there. They're all, you know, obviously just cars now, and the lines are. They're still there, some of the lines, but they're not in. You don't use them anymore. The trams. There's the tram lines here. Actually, the actual paving here reminds me very much like Cabo Verde, where they've got these blocks down. Reminds me of Portugal. They're very similar to what Portugal have in all their pavement sidewalks. They have these little blocks. Same in Madeira as well, which is quite unique to Portugal. Remind you again, we're not actually in Portugal, we're in Brazil. The Portuguese influence is really strong here, especially in Salvador. Everywhere the Portuguese went throughout the world, one of the big things was their fortifications. They were quite unique looking. You can always tell if the Portuguese fought. But that was the first thing they thought about. Obviously they were great sailors, but they always thought of the strategic element wherever they went, and they used to like to frequent small islands just offshore. When you go to Senegal, Dakar, there's a small island there that was just off the coast of Dakar, and again it was a fortification. This is what they always did. They always thought of the strategic element, and obviously high ground is always important. Dates back to the period of 1556. Probably the first Archbishop of Salvador. This guy's called Zumbo dos Palmeiras. And he was enslaved by the Portuguese, and in 1665 they had a rebellion and he was the leader of the rebellion. I'm sure they were very cruel with when they caught the slaves again after any rebellion.